We're gonna try this again. This is the second part of why America is afraid to address racism. See, I had made a tape, but somebody that I have a fight with every night decided to just frack it up, and that's what they did, so I had to delete that. And here we go. I left off talking about my friend David, and how much I miss him and my friend Lloyd, and how I'm multicultural, and how I don't have the right to be a racist. Um, this video is gonna be short because I'm in a bad mood now. But the whole concept is that, when you go to school and you see other kids, you see other kids. You don't see skin color. You don't see skin tone. You don't see this is a white kid or this is an Asian kid. You're not aware of any of that shit until you hit like puberty. And you still ain't aware of that until you hit high school. By the time you get high school, because none of your fellow friends who are kids know how you are raised at home, especially if they haven't spent the night. I have never, ever, that I can remember, if I have and you're out there and you're one of my friends who's white that has invited me to spend the night, please contact me and tell me how that went, because I don't remember that shit. As far as I remember as spending the night with people, I've only spent the night at my friends' houses who were black. You know, I don't recall ever spending the night at a friend's house who was not black. Ever. And if it happened, maybe a couple of my concussions have wiped them out of my memory. But I don't remember ever spending the night at any of my friends' houses who was white. I remember spending the night at my friends' houses who were mixed, but not white. No. And, that's something that I don't remember for sure. I don't remember ever spending the night at any of my friends' houses who were white. And I think that's probably something that really only happens to girls, because girls are accepted everywhere by parents, especially like even racist parents will accept their girlfriends. It's like, oh yeah, you can have black friends if they're girls, but you can't have black friends if they're boys. I've known people like that, which goes back to when you are a child, racism is taught to you. It is not something that you are born with. It is not something that you wake up one morning and say, yeah, I'm going to be a devout racist. No, you were taught that shit. And as long as we have people who are going to continue to teach that shit, we'll have incidences like what happened here in Charlottesville. Because some asshole decided that he doesn't like somebody because of the color of their skin or their gender. And the thing with that, when you are a kid, I don't care what anybody says. When you are a kid, you see kids. You see kids running and playing. When you see them in the park, and even the mixed kids, you just see kids. It's not until you are taught this stuff by adults did you even know what the hell racism even is. You really don't. I learned what racism was at an early age. I learned it from being a victim of reverse racism by black people. These girls I had a crush on, I mentioned them before. SW. Her first name is a familiar toy. Her last name is the same as mine. LT, and I don't mean Lawrence Taylor, but her first name is a flower. Her last name is like a very famous singer who sung Beyond Thunderdome. So y'all can put that together. Those were the first two black girls who told me that I would never be good enough for a black girl because I'm mixed. Funny thing that most natural black people aren't this light that I know of. Maybe if they lived in Egypt, it's possible. But for the most part, if you're like this and you're in America, you're mixed too. And those girls were that color. They were a little bit darker than me, but they were in this range. This is not my natural color down here. This is my natural color up here. I'm high yellow. But, I don't wear long sleeve shirts. They feel like they're choking me. Yes, that is a feeling. So, I've had a couple of black girlfriends. One black girl was darker than me. She did everything she could in whatever grade we were in to make me jealous. And it worked. And then I had another black girlfriend who was lighter than me. We could tell she was mixed because she was red bone. You know, and if you're a red bone, you have white in you somewhere, or Native American or something in you of a different culture that's not black. That's what makes America different than everyone else. And most of our ancestors were either in love with forbidden love or they were raped. It's just a principle of life. But you are taught racism by the time you're able to understand it. So by the time you hit the 7th or 8th grade, you know who you can and can't hang out with. You know who you can and can't bring home from school. You know that factually. Because you'll hear your parents say, "Son, you cannot bring that young fella to my house." "Why, Daddy?" "Because he is not the same color as us, and we don't want him here. Understand that?" "No, Daddy." "Well, you better understand it, or you're gonna understand the palm of my hand." "Yes, Daddy." Now on the other side of that spectrum, let me see if I can. Nope, can't get a fro. Oh, y'all didn't think I was gonna go black on this, right? "Son, we don't want that young person here because he's not our color." "But why, Daddy?" "Because he's not our color and his people have oppressed us and held us down for thousands of years. So no." And that will also go the exact same way if that person was Native American. Alright? And why is that? Because those are the ignorant ass people that are teaching our children how to be racist. Because no matter what color you are, if you are a racist, black, white, or Asian, you are going to raise your kid to be a racist. The school doesn't make you a racist. Because remember, it was the schools that fought against separate but equal for a very long time. And then it was the government that said, no, there will be no segregation anymore. Blacks no longer have to go through black doors, which only broadened the spectrum. But the problem was Native Americans weren't even allowed to go in the places, period. But no one takes that into consideration. No one remembers that. My grandma Ada remembered that. My grandma Bay, she also remembered that because she cooked for those same people for her livelihood. And I believe my grandma Ada also did that for their livelihood. But here's the thing. They never not once told us that we could not love out of our race. And that being said, that's why my ass is mixed and I exist. And funny thing, when my dad met my dad thought my mom was a white girl. So he was really conflicted about that shit. Because that was the thing, you know. Mixed couples were odd and rare, and it hadn't been too long before that was illegal. So you have to think about that stuff. Which goes back again, hatred is taught. It is taught very well. Mixed relationships was illegal for soldiers at war, which is why they couldn't marry celestial brides. But prior to that, in the Old West, they could have celestial brides, but when Korea and Vietnam and other wars involving Asian countries, you were not allowed to pregnate the indigenous female. However, many soldiers did do that in Vietnam and in Korea. Acknowledgement, wash away. Also in Japan, there have been stories of soldiers and geishas that have killed themselves because they were not allowed to get married due to foreign policies and foreign laws and all the other stuff. And eventually those laws were thrown out because you can't help who you fall in love with. That being said, I want to end this on a high note. The first thing that America needs to do to stop racism is acknowledge that it should exist. Acknowledge it. The second thing that America needs to do to end racism is to have a talk about racism. Write down 10 things you hate about a person who is not your race. and then get them to write down 10 things they hate about a person who's not their race, specifically you. Not like y'all hate each other, but why they hate people who look like you. And then flip the pages over and read them. I promise you, all of it will be the same. I hate this person because of this. I hate this person because of that. I hate this person because of this. I hate this person because this person did this to me, my mom, and my sister. There's something there that a person of some other color or ethnicity done to make your family hate them forever. And until it can be addressed, racism will flourish. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing.